Hey, this is James Pelton, and I wanted to do an update video on the Tavern. So a lot of times, I do videos kind of like pre-sale to get you involved, but then you don't ever hear about it again. So I wanted to do an update on this project. I've really enjoyed working and talking with the team. We've had to work through some drama and some FUD, but it's been a lot of fun. This project's been super profitable for me also. So let me just log in here and kind of show you where I'm at with it. So the price of mead has been holding pretty steady. Here's the chart. So I'm really impressed with their launch. Like, we didn't see a huge, usually we're used to seeing a pump and a dump, and then sometimes it stabilizes, sometimes it doesn't. But with this, we've seen, we hit all-time high, but then we had a nice retraction, and then we're kind of just been stable since then. So, I mean, this is the exact chart that you're looking for. This is like the perfect chart for a passive income project, right? And then hopefully it just, obviously it'd be nice if it went high again, but if it just sticks around here, like, that would be a-okay with me going forward. So I'm currently sitting at 39 breweries and making about $685 a day, depending on the price of mead. And then I do a combination of, I compound half the time and I claim half the time. So they've done a really nice job of gamifying this, because they have like a feature where if you let it ferment for a certain number of days, 14 days, then you start to get experience. And once you get enough experience, your breweries go to the next tier, and instead of producing 2 mead a day, they produce 3 mead a day. But if you claim or even compound, they reset. So you're always like, oh, should I compound? Should I let my breweries ferment? And that's just, all those things are good game theory that help sustain the economy. So they also have nice things in the store where they have these upgrades, which again is just part of the economy, where you can increase your production rate, increase it more, or you can decrease the fermentation rate. So again, you just have to kind of figure out what strategy that you're going to use. Again, I've not bought anything from the store yet. I do a 50-50 compound and claim. I am going to let you in on a secret though, okay? Don't tell anybody this. I'm only putting it on YouTube for the world to see. I have a second, this is part of my secret strategy. I have a second wallet that only has 4 breweries in it, and those 4 I'm not going to do anything with. I'm going to just let them upgrade all the way. And then I'm hoping that at some point you can transfer back to my main wallet. They've said that that'll be a feature that you can do. So that might be a way for me to be able to compound and claim like I want to, but also get things over, get them upgraded to the next tier. So is that cheating? I don't know. Is there cheating in DeFi? I don't know, but that's what I'm going to do. So if you'd like to get involved, there's a few ways. First off, there's still a few breweries available, so you can buy those. They're currently 100 mead, so it'd be $878 for you right there. You can get a discount if you pay straight with USDC or with liquidity pool tokens. And we've talked about how you create liquidity pool tokens before, but just go here and create your pools. So I won't go into that again, but you can create a mead USDC pool there, or a mead AVAX pool. So you get a discount if you create with those. And also they've lowered, if you want to get in but don't want to spend that much, you can get in for just $100 by getting this home kit. And so the return is not quite as much. You don't get as much, your return's better if you get a full brewery, but that's an option also. And they've also introduced staking. So again, a big part of their strategy is they want a lot of liquidity. So if you can zap in, you just need USDC in your wallet. You can zap it into liquidity pool tokens here, and then it's currently giving 742% APR. So that's like, 2% daily return on this liquidity pool staked here. So that might be a better return, honestly, than you even get with the breweries right now. So that's one option. Just very cool, all the stuff they have going on. They've been releasing features like crazy, just day after day after day. So all in all, very happy with this team, excited about the launch, excited about the project. It's making me a lot of money. I do have an AMA here with the Innkeeper, so he wanted to kind of address, there's been some FUD and some drama, and he wants to kind of address some of that, so we talked through that. But yeah, go ahead and enjoy my AMA with the Innkeeper. All right, this is James Pelton, and I am here with the Innkeeper from the Tavern, and it has been one of my favorite projects that I've been a part of, and it's been super profitable. We've seen great action on the token price, so I'd say it was a successful launch all in all. So congratulations on that. I kind of want to just hear. Well, I have a few questions for you, but first off, how in the world are you releasing new features so quickly? Because a lot of times I see a roadmap for a project and then I'm like, okay, it'll be a few months, but like every day you guys are on to the next thing on your roadmap. How are you doing that so quickly?
Yeah. Good question. I guess partially well, I was gonna say lack of sleep, but no, I'm doing all right. Like I'm balancing my life really well, and it's great being able to develop these features for these projects. Like you say, we've all been part of a project where there's a lot of promises and not a lot of deliverables. And I just love coding and yeah, so it's great to bring these features to life.
Yeah, and it's been awesome because I'm a computer programmer also, but like whenever you release something new, what usually happens is there's tons of new bugs that come with it. And I mean, you guys have had a bug here or there, but for the most part, even though you've been releasing stuff constantly, the DApp seems to still be working really well, and
Yeah,
I'm super impressed with that.
thank you. Yeah, no, it is. It's actually holding together really well. I'm really actually quite impressed. So
That's awesome. So I did want to just address, so kind of, I've taken a lot of criticism for supporting you guys, and I know you've had a lot of FUD, especially around launch time, just
yes.
about previous, projects that you've worked on in the previous time. So I guess a few questions that I might have on that is, first up, do you want to just talk into maybe the project you were a part of before? And
Yes.
then, well, let's start with that. Do you want to just kind of talk into the project that you were part of before?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, so basically, we weren't super explicit about this. So we have actually been part of a project before. I've been a part of a project before, and it was a very it was a very successful project. So it was on the Binance Smart Chain, and it was called a Rainbow Token. Now basically what happened was I think overall it did maybe a 100x, and there are people that were like investing into our project from the very start and making these insane gains, and everyone was really happy. And because it was one of those BSC projects that, for those of you who weren't ever really part of that, like the Safe Moons and the Bonfires and the Flokies, they were extremely hype driven, and the communities there were a lot more, I would say, toxic, just because people would just jump into chat and say, let's kill a zero, or like when Lambo, and like I know that that's now become a meme, but it was a very intense kind of people just like very very hungry to jump in on something and make a lot of money. And it's one of the reasons I love AVAX so much, like, and especially Node projects, is like people are more of a community. It's more collaborative. Um, people are a lot more, I guess, like willing to share projects, share tips, and everyone's in every Node project as far as I'm aware, and it's a great experience. Like you didn't, there was a lot more competition when it came to the BSC projects. Um, and basically, this is to do with uh, something called the liquidity pool. Essentially, how it works is you get something called price slippage, which is a bit different to how normal slippage works. And what happens is when you do big buys, the price can exponentially start getting higher and higher, which means that when eventually someone sells, it crashes and it goes down really hard. And usually what happens is with all of these BSC projects, they have that one big overarching run where it goes up really high and then it just comes all the way down. And we've seen it with every single project. There's like, I don't know a single project that's actually kind of not had this kind of macro movement. Um, and there have been a lot of projects where like the devs will just dump all their tokens. There have been projects where they just exit halfway through. And we genuinely thought we were building something that would have been different to that. And I think for the most part it was. I still view Rainbow as a success. But I genuinely believe it has had its time, and I eventually resigned. So yeah, that's kind of what happened with that. And then the main reason for not ever really like, I guess, shedding light on that was to do with the safety. So I don't know if this was one of your follow-up questions, but we had a very small, tight-knit group that was still in our community towards the end. I think that they, unfortunately, I don't know if they bought the top and were just riding the price down, or if they bought early and then didn't sell the top, and then they were just watching, their unrealized gains slowly deplete. Um, it was getting more kind of intense towards the end, where I was kind of felt almost like a slave to them, and everything that was going on I had to do, and I felt very responsible um, for the price of the coin, when I knew there was just no way there's nothing I could code to make the price suddenly 100x again. And I was really struggling with that. Um, and so after I resigned, these people were very unhappy. And so yeah, they essentially was sharing my personal information around, because originally we had doxed for this project because we have nothing to hide. That was the main reason for doing it. um, so we doxed publicly, show people our faces, people knew our names, addresses, and we were okay with this, especially during when price was going up, because everyone was obviously like, these guys are geniuses.
And you
um,
fruit baskets in the mail and stuff.
yeah, exactly. Now it's dead rats. No, no. Sorry, that's not funny. But um, but
No,
yeah.
that's funny. I'm gonna leave that one in.
Okay. But no. Basically, yeah. What happened was, yeah. Basically, price went down, and they're now not happy about that. And essentially, like, yeah, I guess it was my time to depart.
So yeah, follow up question on what you were talking about there. Thanks for going into that. I think that's helpful for people, and I think this is important because I'm seeing as we evolve in the DeFi space, I'm seeing more and more founders who are afraid to dox than there used to be. People used to be more willing to dox, but now there's more fear about it. Can you maybe just talk through like yeah your experience just and
Yeah.
I guess yeah, maybe like emotionally how that was for you.
So I always considered myself quite like got a bit of a thick skin. I mean, even throughout the entire project, I've had people constantly just telling me that I'm wrong, and how I should do things differently. And you obviously get people that also say nice things, but you kind of do have to have that thick skin, because you're like, being the I guess the head of the helm of a project, is you're going to subject yourself to that kind of I guess language. But um yeah, I guess the when it comes to like doxing, it's like there's always going to be, when you're like interacting with like hundreds if not thousands of people a day, you're gonna come across one person that maybe has like quite sinister motives. And I know that, like, it's a very, 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 very small percentage of people out there that are capable of things like this, but they are still out there. And, if they have your details, they'll stop at nothing to kind of make your life as horrible as it can be. And I'm not saying that, I've had the worst experience. I know people that have had a lot worse experiences than me. But yeah, it was, I guess you could say it was quite emotionally I guess it did torment me a little bit, because I do feel like there are these people, that know so much about me, and I know nothing about them. And you don't know if they're around the corner, if they're watching you, especially when you've got them telling you like every day that they're going to come find you, and then they also know where you live.
Right.
um,
Yeah, well, and it was even I was getting people like ups, I was getting some threats and things like that. And it's crazy. And it's all it's from people who they're not doxxed, but they want you to dox. And so it's crazy to me. And then I guess last thing I do want to talk about is kind of what else do you guys have on the horizon? So like you've been releasing something new every day. Are you running out of things to release, or what's on the roadmap coming up, or what do you guys see in the future?
so yeah, so we're not running out of things to release quite yet. I mean, we've got the home kits, which will be going live soon. There's no exact date on that, but these are basically things that have a much lower price entry point, because I'm sure you've seen the price action has been ridiculous over the past few days. So the entry point to buying a brewery is now obviously a bit more expensive. So we're going to offer these home kits. So that's one thing. We also are going to offer like a few different kind of minor features, like being able to convert your pending staking, like your pending rewards in your staked pool into breweries, and also being able to compound your current brewery rewards into home kits. So there are a couple cool features that are going to help make the ecosystem a bit more fluid. One of the bigger ones is the Tavern games. So those are actually making really good progress, just mainly because of how the contract is it's actually quite straightforward. So all that needs to do is just to hook it up into a web interface. But we want to kind of like plan a bit of a marketing stint out of that, because that is one of our major features that we wanted to hit. And yeah, obviously the Brewers Guild. So that's going to hopefully have some more light shine on it next week, where we kind of explain a little bit about what it is and how you can get involved. Just for those of you, I mean, just really, really quick, it is just essentially a glorified governance system. It has some extra perks, and it kind of just ties everything in together, because we've always been about listening to the community and kind of helping steer the project in the community's best interest. So
That's awesome. Have you, I guess, some questions that I've had. First off, so are you guys going to do your own marketplace, or are these available? Are breweries available to sell on third party yet?
So great question. That is one of the biggest questions I think a lot of our community members are asking. I don't have anything that I can strictly share publicly with you. However, it is coming. We have been assured by NFT Trade that they will be able to support our token. They've been integrating it especially for us, or at least this is what they tell us. I know that this will be a good feature for them going forward. But yes, this is going to be really good, because it means that people will need to buy mead to trade the breweries. So it doesn't remove the utility. And we'll be exploring other options on how we can kind of handle, like maybe potentially a buyback system, which will really be cool. And yeah, I think that is all I can say on that.
Okay. No, that's good. So
Yeah,
the other
definitely.
thing that I'm frustrated with is it's hard to calculate like what the best strategy is. Like I'm used to there like being maybe one or two strategies. But there's so much going on in the tavern. I can't really figure out like what should I be doing? Like, do you have any secret tips?
Yeah, so that's actually a good question. And I think I saw your tweet on this, because I've pitched to the team that we should get some more kind of like guide slash education content. I think that's the one thing we are kind of lacking as a project. We've got all these things going on, but then like sometimes some people don't really know, like, okay, how do I do this? What do I do? But anyway, yeah. On the record, off the record, it's up to you. But this one of the things you can do right now. The best way to earn your return is through staking. The APY is ridiculously high. The rewards have just started. I'm not sure if you've seen. It's like 1,200 to 1,200. So you'll be making a lot more returns if you stake right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking about trying to build like some calculator or something that will just give you, if you do it this way, after 2 weeks, you'll have this. If you do it this way, after 2 months, you'll have this. And people can make their decision. Yeah, based on, are you looking at short term? Are you looking at long term? But because
That's
usually what
actually
I
a good.
like,
That's really good. I like that idea. Yeah, like a short term, maybe mid term and long term. Just like three.
yeah,
It can just be like an infographic, like what you do, where you put, what you click, because people just want to be able to follow this rule set, right?
right.
They don't want to have to think about if they apply more than 1% of their brain, they're like, I'm going to go to another
Yeah.
project. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and people, yeah, they like to just know that they're doing the best thing. And
Yeah,
then
that's also true.
they get like anxious if they're like, oh, I could have done something better. So yeah, giving them that certainty that like, hey, you should buy a brewery right now. You should compound. I think would help people. So I might, if I get some free time, I might start working on some of that stuff. But yeah, if you guys get some time too, that might be something to think about. So in some ways it's good because it makes people like, you want people for it to feel more gamified. if there's like a set strategy everyone does, then it doesn't feel as gamified. It's like, well, this is no what you're supposed to do. But if you have gamified where no, some people are staking, some people are buying this, some people are buying this, it does feel more like a game, and that, maybe you can do better than everyone else because you have a better strategy.
That
So
is true. That is also very true. Um, you kind of don't want to take too much of the option and choice away from people, even though that is kind of at the end of the day what they want.
right.
So you need to find that right balance, basically.
Yep. So good luck with that.
Thank you.
I think
Cheers.
that was all the questions. People have been asking about the treasury. If you're planning on what you're planning on doing with the treasury,
Yes.
investing it, or I know you've talked about
Yeah.
doing buybacks.
So we've already done a few buybacks. We've done a few every day, especially into the redeems, just to kind of like make sure that because there's a vesting period on the whitelist pre-sale individuals, so they can redeem their X Mead into Mead, and we're getting kind of like 50 to 70k worth of sales each day. So we're doing a bit of buyback into that. I mean, buy pressure it immediately eats it up. If you look at our chart, it's just been like pretty much straight up the past 2-3 days. So, but it's still nice to kind of for the community to know that we are like considering that period, so they don't need to worry. Like we're going to be helping, support the price. And but then yes, treasury investments. This is currently ongoing. We've reached out to a bunch of different projects. Because obviously this is going to be something that's a public endeavor. We want our wallets to be visible. So yeah, this is something that we're currently doing. I'm hoping that we'll have more on this over the next few days, maybe next week. But we are definitely in this process, and it is definitely something we're pursuing.
So your treasury is full of mead right now. Is that correct?
Yes, it's full of mead, it's full of dollars, and it's full of something called LP tokens.
Okay.
So the for those who don't know what LP tokens are, they're essentially just like a receipt that allows you to kind of draw liquidity out. Now, before you get alarmed, we have locked the vast majority of our liquidity, and this is any liquidity that comes from the additional zapping that people do. But what's really, really cool about this is when we take it out, it doesn't affect the price. So this has always been like one of the cool, like this has been like one of the main features of this project. You might have these people that have treasuries with loads and loads of their own tokens, but they have to sell that to take that into money that they can then go market with, which is obviously it has a certain detriment to the project. So using the LP instead is a really, really strong way of doing this, because you can take some of that value out without affecting price. And because it's such a small, insignificant amount, the liquidity is like hardly affected by it. So this has been my main, I'm so excited about this feature. It's been doing so well. We've had almost, I think, 600k worth of liquidity buys. People are loving this zapper. So yeah.
Yeah, there's really no reason not to use it with the zapper. You get the big discount and it zaps
Yes.
in. But yeah, I've seen that with other protocols where their treasury is all full of their native token, and then when they want to go invest it, there's nothing to do but sell, and
Yeah.
you get these huge sell pressures. So very
Exactly.
cool. I think you guys are doing everything right. It was a really smooth launch. I'm excited to see what you do going forward. And yeah, happy to again help however I
Yeah.
can. And yeah, just let me know. I'm obsessed with retweeting and things like that when you guys release new things. So
Yeah, I mean, the team appreciate all the support you've shown, James. So I thank you. And yes, obviously, you're very helpful. I mean, you've given me 2 great ideas already in this AMA. So we can definitely collaborate in the future.
yeah, well, it's easier to give ideas than to implement them. So I know that
That's
is
true.
true. Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, let me
Thank
know
you,
if I
mate.
can do anything else, and have a good evening, right?
Yeah, yeah. Evening for me and day for you. Have a
Yes,
nice time.
sir. All right,
See
talk
you,
to you
man.
later.
Bye.
Thanks for watching my AMA with the Innkeeper. I hope that was enjoyable for you. Please do like, subscribe, comment down below your strategy. I think there's probably more than one that's right. Like, are you using this stuff in the store? What's your compound claim strategy? There's probably not one right answer, which is what makes this kind of fun. But yeah, leave that down below in the comments. And then be on the lookout. I'm having a lot of videos coming out here in the next few days. So be on the lookout for a fire hose of content from James Pelton. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.